Our Bloomberg News has learned that GE is leaning toward an IPO of Vivendi's 20% holding in NBC Universal. This comes as talks to purchase the stake stall. Bloomberg's M&A reporter Serena joins us now with more on the story. And it's interesting, Serena, because they still want it, they say at least, that they still want to go ahead with the sale of NBC to Comcast. Is this a way for them to do that? Because I know they need Vivendi's permission.
Well, yes, it's pretty complicated. Vivendi owns 20% of NBC. GE owns the other 80%. While GE is trying to buy Vivendi's stake, it's also in talk with Comcast to form a joint venture. And there's a lot of posturing. We read these media analysts read these as posturing because the two companies, GE and Vivendi, are $500 million apart in their talks to reach an agreement. And
as to what GE and Comcast have to eventually pay Vivendi for its 20% stake in NBC.
Exactly. And GE and Comcast already reached an agreement, but now GE needs to reach one with Vivendi. And Vivendi wants more money, wants more cash, wants to be paid in advance because there might be a long review by the antitrust regulator, and so they don't want to run the risk of waiting for too long. And so GE is threatening to do an IPO, and Vivendi is threatening not to sell to GE. And in the middle, there's the NBC deal.
Hence all the posturing going on. All right, so how would NBC be valued in an eventual IPO?
Well, that's the thing. In an IPO right now, NBC would be valued less than what GE agreed with Comcast. It would probably fetch between $27 and $28 billion, and GE and Comcast already agreed to a value of $30 billion, and which would value Vivendi's stake around $6 billion, and Vivendi wants more than that. It has it on its book value for $6.5 billion. So that's what we're talking about. Everybody believes they'll reach an agreement because it's the most convenient thing for all parties, but meanwhile, they're leveraging all the threats they can.
And talking about it. I mean, it's so telegraphed, like every move here. It's not quiet.
Talking to you about it. Who marks assets to their market price anymore? That's so old school.
I don't know.
Listen, Jeff Immelt from the CEO of GE, he's actually flying over to Paris, or to France at least, this weekend. Who knows where they'll meet, but he's going to talk with Vivendi. Is this a bargaining chip, you think, before those talks? Because the trip was previously planned.
Yeah, I mean, everybody thinks so. All the media, observer, analysts, bankers I talk to believe that they'll finally reach an agreement. The joint venture between NBC and Comcast is the most convenient thing. Vivendi wants to sell an IPO right now. It's not the right thing. And GE wants to buy Vivendi's stake and sell it in the joint venture. So that appears to be the outcome, but we'll see. I mean, it's not a given.
All right.
That's for sure.
You stay on the telephone.
We'll continue to track those headlines.
Exactly.
All right, Serena, thank you.